Guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is Thursday, which means it's time for another video. It's 9 o'clock on a Thursday. Hope you are having a good week. And if you are coming to the Magic Podcast Convention this weekend, I cannot wait to see you. Now, I'm filming this on Thursday morning, and it's a video I've been meaning to make for a little while. And it stems from a question that comes up again and again and again on the Q&A. And the question is, are the classics still relevant? And a couple of people have asked this question in a variety of different ways, but it kind of boils down to, in a world where there's so many new magic tricks coming out all the time, are the classics still relevant? And can we still perform the classics? And honestly, the answer is yes. And I think classics are more relevant now than ever before. I'm going to give you a few different reasons why, but then I'm going to examine one particular classic piece of magic. Now, if this is a video that you like and you enjoy, then we can very easily do more of these. Today, I'm going to be examining the linking rings. So today, I'm going to be talking about the linking rings. I'm going to be talking about all the different ways that you can perform the linking rings and all the different ways that you can actually you can kind of present that to an audience, because that's kind of one of the points that I'm going to make. But if you want me to examine other classics of magic in the future, and this is a video that you like the look of, or you like the sound of doing more of them, just let me know in the comments down below. But first of all, to answer the question, are the classics still relevant today? The answer is yes. And let me explain why. So first of all, and I'm literally doing this off the cuff, I haven't scripted this video at all, but let me explain why from my point of view. So first of all, most people that watch magic, they don't know what constitutes a classic versus what isn't a classic. They just don't know. Now, will people have heard of something like the linking rings? Will people have heard of something like the cups and balls? Potentially, maybe. But I perform at a lot of events, and honestly, most people that I perform for, it's unlikely they've seen a magician before live. And if they have, maybe they've seen one performance or something like that. And because a lot of the classics are considered classics, you don't see them performed all the time on television. It's not a thing that you constantly see. And most people, the way they're going to see magic is through a live performance or by watching it on television. So when you present a trick to a spectator, they don't know what that trick is. They have no idea if it's been around for 1,000 years or if it got released through Murphy's Magic 1 week ago. They don't know. They're just judging it on whether it's entertaining or not. So first of all, we know it's been around forever. They don't know it's been around forever. So that's the first thing. The second thing to take into consideration is classics generally are classics for a reason. The reason a trick is considered revered in this community after such a length of time is because it works. I mean, again, you look at the linking rings, it's a trick that just works. Now, I know there's people out there that will say, oh, I don't like the linking rings because, you know, the method is what the spectator is going to jump to. They're going to think there's a gap in the rings, and there is a gap in the rings. And I totally get that. I disagree with it. I've done linking rings for like 20 years. In close-up and on stage. I love the linking rings. I can understand where you're coming from, but you can't argue that any classic that is still revered today has stood the test of time. Think about tricks that have come out with massive amounts of hype in the last 5 years. A lot of them you never see again. They come out with fanfare and hype and pomp and circumstances, and everybody proclaims it to be the greatest living trick of all time. This is the trick that you need to get. This is the trick that's going to make you famous. This is the trick that's going to cause your career to skyrocket. So you buy said trick, and then 6 months later, no one's talking about it, because the thing is, magic is an art form, especially from a commercial point of view, where new things are coming out and replacing the old things. It's very rare for a trick to come out and continue to sell and continue to do well and continue to be kind of part of the discussion within the magic community. Some of them, this does happen sometimes. You look at Minibook Pro. I'd argue that Minibook Pro is a trick, Trick Wins Minibook Pro. I'd argue that's a trick that continually gets bought up. It's existed long after its shelf life. Same with Chop by myself. I think that has. Snaps by David Jonathan. There's several examples. Charming Chinese Challenge by Chu Troy Hooser. There's several examples, but generally, there's so much magic that's coming out these days. A lot of it just falls by the wayside. But you look at stuff like the egg bag, you look at stuff like cups and balls, you look at stuff like linking rings, and you're seeing variations of these tricks coming out all the time because they've stood the test of time. They're designed to work. The other thing is, I actually think that I examine my own stage show, and I look at my own stage show, and a lot of my own stage show is full of classics of magic: cards across, linking rings, egg bag, multiplying bottles. Yeah, I'm putting my own spin on those tricks, and I'm not presenting them the way that a lot of other people do. But still, they're classic tricks. There's so much new stuff that comes out all the time, and I see a lot of the new stuff that comes out. I review a lot of the new stuff that comes out. But then when you look at my show and you see what I actually do in my stage show, it's full of variations of classics. Again, because classics work, right? The other thing that I think classics of magic do is they teach you the fundamentals of magic. Look, ever since I first got into magic, people would turn around to me when I first got into magic and they would say, you've got to learn the cups and balls because it's going to teach you how to be a better magician. So I learned the cups and balls, and you know what? It's right. A lot of people don't do the cups and balls in their show. I do the cups and balls in my show. I do the Vernon routine, or a variation of the Vernon routine. But, what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is learning the cups and balls made me a better magician because it allowed me to learn about misdirection. It allowed me to learn about timing. It allowed me to learn how to vanish something properly. Eye contact with the audience, all of these things that are very, very important. If a magician comes into magic and they just gravitate towards self-working magic, my old business partner was a guy called Ethan from like 20 years ago, like way, way, way back in the day when I first started doing magic professionally. And he wasn't a particularly great magician, in all honesty. He didn't really do anything to do with sleight of hand. He wasn't a sleight of hand guy by any stretch of the imagination. And he refused to learn any classics. Effectively, what he was looking for were either kind of self-working mentalism tricks or self-working ways of doing visual magic. And that's what he was looking for. And one of the things that, and I told him this over and over again to his face, one of the things that would have made him a better performer is if he had learned the classics, because by learning sleight of hand, everything improves. It's a little bit like coin magic. I genuinely believe that you will become a better magician with everything that you do if you learn coin magic, because there's certain things that you learn as a coin magician that you can kind of carry over to other aspects of the art, if that makes sense. And it's the same with classics, right? And the most important thing, and this is the thing that I'm going to get onto with the linking rings, is you should make a trick your own. You absolutely should make a trick your own. So I had a conversation at Blackpool with somebody, and he said, I don't do any classics of magic because I like my show to be completely unique. And I was like, yeah, I get that, but you can perform a classic of magic, and you can perform it in a way that is completely different to the way that anyone has done that particular routine. So, for example, you look at something like the cups and balls, and you can perform the Vernon routine. Now, the Vernon routine is very different to the way that Gazzo would present it. I remember seeing the Flicking Fingers guys many, many years ago, and they did a version of the cups and balls, and it was all based on sex education. And that's before we even changed the cups and balls to a 2-cup routine. You look at Dave Williamson and you look at his 2-cup routine and you go, okay, well, that's completely different. Then you look at the way that Tommy Wonder approached the cups and balls and you go, well, okay, he's using completely different techniques and he's changing the way that the balls are actually constructed in order to be able to do these new moves he's brought into the cups and balls. Then you look at things like the clear cups and balls. You look at Jason Latimer's clear cups and balls and you go, okay, well, now we're taking it in a completely different direction. I remember speaking to a guy at Magic Live this year that competed at FISM with cups and balls using little robot arms. And look, that's the point. There's so much ingenuity in magic, so many creative people coming up with so many wonderful ideas. You don't have to take a classic of magic and do it the same way as everyone else. You can use it as the basis of a completely different act. And you know what? I think that audiences will connect more with a classic of magic than they will with the brand new latest trick. I'm not dissing the brand new latest trick. I am responsible for many of them, and I know they work, and there's nothing wrong with them. But I'm telling you right now, why is it that so many people continue doing the linking rings, continue doing the ebb bag, continue doing ambitious card, continue doing cards across, continue doing cards to pocket? The reason is simple. It works, and we know it works, while some of these newer things that come in, they come in and they disappear a little bit later, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, I think there's a place for the classics of magic, 100%. Now, I want to kind of expand on that and talk about the linking rings, because the linking rings is a perfect way of illustrating my point about how you can perform a classic in so many different ways, which will completely change fundamentally the way the routine looks. And linking rings is a perfect example, because most people think of the linking rings as, well, you know, you just take 4 rings and you link them together and then you unlink them together, and then that's the trick. But realistically, there's so many different ways that you can perform the linking rings. So first of all, you know, I think when most people think of the linking rings, they think of the the way that it's performed a lot at the moment, which is with 4 rings. But you know, one of the very first times I saw the linking rings was Vernon's Symphony of the Rings, which has like 9 or 10 rings. It's got like multiple different shapes that are being made. You've got so many different patterns, and rings are linking all over the place. And that is perfectly illustrating my point. You can have one performer do the classic Vernon Symphony of the Rings, then you can have somebody else do a stripped down version using just like 3 or 4 rings, and it would look completely different. Yes, the fundamental concept is the same, which is that there are rings linking and linking, but by changing the routine, the whole experience on the audience is completely different. And then that's without changing the presentation. I remember watching Jeff Hobson perform live, and it was several years ago now. I think it was when he appeared at the IBM convention in the UK. But I've seen Jeff a few times, so it might be something else. But I remember watching him, and he did a linking rings routine where the music was changing. He was doing it to music, and the music was changing. And as the music was changing, he was taking like 10 rings and linking them in different ways to create different shapes that kind of matched up to the music that was being played at the time. And it was a beautiful piece, it really was. And the effect was no longer on the linking of the rings. The effect was, okay, I can link these rings magically, but now I'm going to go into overdrive and I'm going to make all these wonderful shapes. I'm going to do it to music. And as you would expect with Jeff Hobson, it was very zany and very action-packed and very chaotic, and he was rushing to get the next shape when he heard the music. But, I mean, it brought the house down. It really did. It was a room full of magicians. It brought the house down, rightfully so. So that's an example of how you can change I mean, he was using effectively the same setup as the Symphony of the Rings, but by changing the presentation and adding music and changing how that works, it looks completely different. No audience member, no lay person would watch a 4-ring linking ring routine and then watch Jeff Hobson and think they're watching the same thing. It is completely different, which is great. Sorry, I was just doing that. Then you look at, I mean, that's not even taken into consideration the close-up linking rings. And there's so many different variations of the close-up linking rings. You've got, for example, Shutagawa with the ninja rings. I mean, that's really the thing that took Shoot and put him on the map, his ninja ring routine. And you know what? I've seen Nemid Phoenix, my friend Nemid Phoenix, do the ninja rings, and he does it beautifully. But from that, and that's a completely, by the way, I should say, the ninja rings is a completely different thing to the routines on stage, because obviously the rings are smaller. There's more linking and unlinking happening. It's happening in the hands of the spectators. There's more visual moments because the rings are smaller. You can spin them on the table and do that sort of thing. It looks completely different. But then you can take those small rings, and rather than going down the route of doing the flashy ninja ring style, you can go in a completely different direction, and you can say, right, okay, I'm going to do the Masado rings. I personally, one of my favourite routines to do is a routine that was taught to me by David Penn. It's the routine that I actually taught Thomas Maloney a few weeks ago on this channel, where I taught him my linking rings routine, and I kind of did a deep dive into the linking rings. If you missed that, I'm going to put a performance of this right here now so you can see that routine, because it serves a really important point.
So, Tom, I'm going to show you something. This is the oldest trick in magic. This trick is over 2,000 years old. It is the miracle of the ancient linking rings. It uses 4 rings. That's ring number 1. That's ring number 2. That's ring number 3. And this one here is ring number 4. Do me a favour. I'm going to give you 2 of these for now. Just put, I'm going to make it like a giant bangle. So let me just put it on your wrist. Let me show you what's going to happen first of all. You see the 2 rings? Yeah. Okay. The idea is that you take these 2 rings, and the idea is to link them together. Yeah. What you do is you rub them right here in the middle, and when you rub them in the middle, what happens is they actually link together. Now you see this one's linked onto this one, just like this one has linked onto this one. Yeah. And that's the first part of this amazing trick. You see, I can actually unlink them just by rubbing in the right place, and they unlink. People say they want to see the moment it happens. Do me a favour, rub your finger there. Okay, rub your finger there. See, that's where the solid passes straight through solid, and it happens every single time. Now, again, if you want to unlink it, you just rub in the right spot, and they come apart. Yeah. Now, you can do this yourself. You start off by holding the 2 rings in your hand from above. So take those 2 rings and just hold them from above in your hand. Very good. Hold them nice and tightly. And let me show you what you're going to do before you do it, okay? It's very simple. You just, let me do it first. You blow. And when you blow, you let go of one ring. You hold on to the other one, but you let go of one ring. If you let go of both of them, they're going to fall on the floor. But you just let go of one, and when you do, just like that, they link together. Now, you're going to do this, and everyone's going to be very, very impressed. Do me a favour, just blow and drop. I said just one, but don't worry, it's my fault, so I shouldn't have picked it. Very good. Now, the unlinking bit is even easier. You just rub them one in each hand, and you rub them in the middle like this, and you pull them apart. You can pull them apart. It's okay, you hold on to that one for a minute. Let me see if I can go one step further. Run your hand around the outside. You don't see any holes, do you? No.
Other than the big one right through the middle, yeah? Let's see if we can do this again. Watch. You see that we've got a link of 2. If I put this right there, now we get 3. We get 3 rings. That's a link of 3. Yeah. Now, what's really crazy is I can take these 3 rings and I can rub them like this, and I get them linking in 9 separate places, and I look like Mickey Mouse. But I wouldn't do that. That'd be showing off, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to do something even more amazing. If I could told you that bottom ring would go all the way up to the top, would that be good? Yeah. Ta-da! You're not looking impressed. Let me do it for real. Whoa, for real, it looks like that. Ooh. It goes all the way up to the top. Now, let's see if we can go one step further right now. Pass me that one, because I'm going to try and link this one onto this one, onto this one, onto this one. If magic was real, it would look something like that. Yeah. Now, if I want to, I can actually take this ring and I can rub this one here like this. Now I've got 3 rings linked on one ring. But I tell you what, for the big finish, I'll try and take them off. The first one comes off like this. Watch, you just rub it here. And that's when the first one comes off. That's ring number 1. The second one is the hardest one. Of course, you just do that, and that one comes through. Yeah. That leaves the 2 that you link together yourself. And like I said, if magic was real, it would look something like that. And that is the miracle of the Chinese linking rings. So that linking rings routine is, for me, a 1,000-timer. It's a routine that I've done all of the time, and it's a routine I love performing in close-up. And you know what? I do it at corporate events, I do it at weddings, I do it at private parties, and when I bring those rings out, nobody goes, "Oh, I've seen that before. That's a classic of magic." Now, I might preface it by saying, hey, I'm going to show you one of the oldest tricks in magic. This trick is over 2,000 years old, before I go into it. But a lot of people will have never seen it before, and even if they have, there's no problem there. Even if they've heard of it, and you go, "Hey, this trick's really old," and they go, "Oh, I've heard of this one." Well, now you're going to get a chance to see it live. But that routine is a perfect example. I'm using the same rings as the Masato rings. I'm using the same rings as the ninja rings, but I'm doing it in a kind of a more slower, more streamlined, more stripped back performance. Perfect example. Then, when you look at the close-up linking rings, you look at somebody like Matthew Garrett. And Matthew Garrett has taken the linking rings to a completely different direction. I mean, I could do a video on Matthew's stuff alone, but you look at the GIR, which is Garrett's Impossible Rings, where he's got rings that are linking together, but they really are linked. Well, apparently they're really linked, but there's no gap in the in the ring at all. There's no gap, there's no hole, there's nothing like that. It is literally just a just three solid rings that are linking together. Then you've got the Ninja Plus routine, where you've got a ring that goes onto the ring, off the ring. Then you've got like that ball bearings that are going on and off. You've got Chinese coins that are going on and off. And you kind of very quickly realize that Matthew has completely changed the game, and then some, over and over and over again, because he's taken the classic close-up linking ring and he's come up with so many different ways of actually linking other stuff together. And then you look at somebody like Michael O'Brien, who then went on Penn and Teller Fool Us with some of the routines that him and Matthew developed together. And you realize that experience of an audience member watching that routine is completely different to the Masato rings, for example, which is completely different to the Symphony of the Rings. And you realize that there's these classics of magic, and linking rings here is a perfect example, where you can take it and you can stamp your own personality onto it. You can make it whatever you want it to be. So if we switch back to stage rings, for example, we've talked about the Symphony of the Rings, we've talked about Jeff Hobson. I'll talk about myself and Ryland for a second, because myself and Ryland both do the linking rings on stage. But it couldn't be more different if it tried. So Ryland uses the TCC rings, which came out from TCC, and he uses one of the locking rings there. So as part of the TCC set, you get a locking ring, which locks. Wonderful idea. So you've got this locking ring, right? This little locking ring mechanism where it magnetically locks, and he uses that. And the reason he uses that is his routine is very, very short. It's like 2 minutes long, and it's this routine where the rings are linking and they're unlinking, and he does it as a very short 2-minute piece. And I've seen him perform this in front of audiences for years and years and years, and it never fails to bring the house down, because I think it's partly because he's made the routine his own. It's not like he's taken someone else's routine. He's decided which elements he wants to do. He's made it really short. He's included like his favorite type of music. So he's got the Doctor Who track playing over the top. The Sun is Wibbly. And you've got this whole musical thing where he performs the rings and they're beautiful. It's just a beautiful routine, and everyone always gets blown away with this. But and actually, before I make my point, let me just show you that video. Here's a video of Ryland performing the linking rings. Okay, so that was a performance of Ryland performing the linking rings, but then you have me. And when I go on stage, I perform a slight variation. I perform my variation of Pop Hayden's linking rings. Now, what Pop did is he took the linking rings and he made it hilarious. He made it really funny. And he has an audience member on stage, and there's a lot of back and forth. And my routine differs from Pop's in a few different ways, but the general concept of having a spectator on stage with you to assist with the linking and the unlinking and having that kind of look, no, see element is a perfect example of why this routine works so well for a comedy magician. And that is the point. Ryland is not a comedy magician. Ryland is kind of more of a manipulator, a stage performer. So when he performs the rings, it becomes this beautiful piece of music and magic and so on and so forth, which is over in like a couple of minutes. When I do the linking rings, it's more of a 6 or 7 minute routine where there's lots of comedy and lots of audience interaction and lots of gags. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. And fundamentally, the two performances are both rings. And they're linking and they're unlinking, but the impact on the audience and the effect on the audience is completely different. Just for sake of completeness, here's a video of me doing the linking rings as well, so you can compare them with what Ryland does.
We're going to perform a classic of magic. We're going to perform a trick that is literally 5,000 years old. This is the miracle of the ancient Chinese rings. I know. Now, what's cool about this trick, have you ever done this trick before? You're going to do this right now. Would you like to see Anastasia do this trick? Yeah! Of course you would. Now, you've never done this before. I'm going to teach you how it works, but then you're going to do it. So face the front, okay? Now, the idea is that I've got 4 rings. This one here is ring number 1. This one is ring number 2. This one here is ring number 3. And this one here is ring number 4. Now, we're going to start off by teaching you what happens, and then you can do it yourself. Hold on to that one, there you go. And hold it like you're driving a car, just like me. And then run your hands around the outside like this, Anastasia. Make sure there's no wires, no breaks. Make sure there's no holes in the ring. Anastasia, be honest, do you see any holes in the ring? Do you see a hole anywhere in that ring? There's a big one right through the middle. That is literally the only hole. Now, hold the ring like this. One hand on top of another, side on to me. The idea is to link the 2 rings together. The idea is if I can link these 2 rings together, every single person in this audience will go crazy. Let me ask you a question, Anastasia. Are you ready? Let's try that again with a bit more energy. Anastasia, are you ready? Yeah. Wonderful. Everybody, are you ready? Yeah. Happens on 3. Check this. 1, 2, 3. Let go. We're going to have the 2 rings linked together, just like that ring's linked on that one. This one's linked to that one. And that's the first part of this amazing trick. You see, if I rub the rings together, they come apart. Ooh. Now, this is the bit where everybody normally claps and cheers. The reason they didn't do that is because they don't want to see me do the trick. They want to see you do the trick. If you do the trick, that's when every single person here gives you a big round of applause. Is that right, everybody? Yeah. That's what I thought. So you're going to do this yourself. So you get 2 rings. That's ring number 1. That's ring number 2. Hold them with your left hand facing the front, just like that. Can you do that for me? There you go, hold them tightly from above. Very good. Don't drop them till I say. I'm going to hold mine 2 separately, just like yours. The idea is, I'll show you what to do first, Anastasia, okay? When I say, you're going to blow through the rings, and then you're going to let go of one of them, not both, just one, like this. And they'll link together. You don't drop both of them because they'll just fall on the floor. But if you drop one of them, they'll link together only if you believe, and then everybody will give you a big round of applause. Anastasia, do you believe? You believe? Very good. Okay, here we go. Don't forget, you blow and then drop 1. 3, 2, 1, go. You're doing so good, we'll carry on. Take that bottom ring, spin it like that. That's very good. Now, Anastasia, that's an applause cue. Let me explain. In showbiz, you do that and you throw your hand back. It tells the audience to clap and cheer loudly. Watch this. You do it, it'll be 20 times louder. Right, we're going to carry on, okay? Hold 1 ring in each hand like this. Now rub them together and then pull them apart. So rub them in the middle and then pull them apart like that. Pull them apart, Anastasia. Give them a really big pull and they'll separate like this, you see. You'll have 1 here, you'll have 1 here. Now when you have one, give them a really good pull, they come apart and then you have 1 here, you have 1 here. You bang them together like this, they link back together and spin it at the bottom. Give it a spin, give that one a spin. Don't forget to spin, that's important because that's when they clap. Look! Anastasia, do it again. Take that bottom one, there you go, pull them apart really hard. 1 hand in each hand, okay? One hand going that way, one hand going that way. So spin, hold them like this, pull them apart like this. Go, pull them apart, they come apart. Everybody goes crazy. And then what you do is you take this string, you bang this one onto this one, and when you do, they go back together, and Anastasia, spin the ring, Anastasia. Spin the ring, and they go crazy. What is it? Take a ring, give it a spin. One ring in each hand, pull them apart like that, they come apart. Give them really good pull. Really good pull. Let me help. You hold that one, I'll hold this one. You pull that way, I'll pull this way on 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. Whoops. Stop laughing, it's not funny. If I told you I could make that bottom ring go to the top, would that be good? Yeah. Ta-da. And back again. It's amazing, right? I tell you what, we can fix this. What I'll do, I'll take this ring, I'll link it to the bottom one, then the middle one, then the top one. We'll end up with a chain of 4. I'll throw them up here. You grab the bottom ring, I'll grab the top one, and everyone will go crazy. Here we go, we can do this. Looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Grab for me, there you go, grab it, and look at that! Continuing, if I run them like this now, we have 3 rings linked on 1 ring! No! I said we have 3 rings linked on 1 ring! No! I said we have 3 rings linked on 1 ring! Absolutely! Now for the big finish, we're going to try and take these apart. The first time the first ring comes off, golf clap. Nice polite round of applause. The second one, they start to whoop, holler and cheer. And then the final one, you're going to do yourself. Every single person is going to go crazy, not for me, but for you. You ready? First one, this is the golf clap. Looks like this. 1, 2, 3. Second one, people start getting a bit loud and check this out. 1, 2, 3. So the last 2, stand in front of me right there, Anastasia. Stand right in front of me. Face the audience. You're the star here. We're going to take these 1 in each hand. Can you hold 1 in one hand, 1 in the other hand? Very good, just like that. And on 3, you're going to pull them apart yourself. 1 that way, 1 that way. Are you ready? 1, 2. All this applause is for you. 3. Please give it up for Anastasia!
So the point I'm trying to make here is just because something is deemed a classic doesn't necessarily mean that you can't innovate with that prop. It doesn't mean that you can't bring something different to it. Like a few years ago, Quadro Vicious Circle came out, which I've never performed. I've never actually performed it myself. A few times, but not very often. But I love the premise, and I've seen people absolutely take this and make it their own. It's the idea of having barbed wire linking rings, and you've got gloves on because you're having to handle barbed wire, and they're linking together, but then they're catching on your clothes, and it's a really funny piece that you can play with or without music. And it's completely different because somebody took the linking rings and said, you know what, I'm going to innovate this in a different way. I'm going to use barbed wire linking rings. And innovations are happening with the linking rings all the time. And I think that the best way of using the linking rings has not even been released yet. And people are innovating with close-up, and people are innovating with stage routines all the time. Like one of the most popular ways of doing linking rings close-up was 3-Ring Circus by Jay Sankey, where he took the linking rings and he built them into the little things that you have on key fobs. Brilliant idea. Same basic concept, but he made it really close-up. Really, really smart. Then you look at somebody like Victor Folco, who took the linking rings and created the flying linking rings, which is one of my favourite routines to watch Ryland do. And if you don't know what the flying linking rings is, the idea is that it's a linking ring routine where the rings are floating as well. So you've got the rings floating in the air, and as they're floating in the air, they're linking and they're unlinking. It's beautiful. In fact, again, just for sake of completeness, to illustrate my point, here's a video of Ryland doing the flying linking rings. If you've not seen it, it really is one of my favourite ways to watch the linking rings. It's a pain in the butt because of the hookup and everything, and getting the lighting right on a stage to be able to do it. But, I've seen Ryland perform it in theatres all over the world, and it's one of my favourite pieces he does, to be perfectly honest. Let's have a look at it.
We've had a great show so far. We would like to finish off by showing you a classic of magic, but with my own little twist. It's called the Linking Rings. Can I have some music, please? I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design.
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, to say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see.
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head.
A million dreams are keeping me.
A million dreams, a million dreams. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
For the world we're gonna make.
So, the flying linking rings is completely different to any other linking rings because Victor Volko took the linking rings and said, you know what, I'm going to take this to another level. What would happen if we took those rings and made them float? Could we still link the rings when they're floating? And that's the point. If you want to make a trick truly your own, Yeah, you can buy a trick and you can just put it straight in your act. Absolutely not a problem. But the way to do it, in my opinion, is to really kind of try and really try and be more creative. Be more creative and look at the prop and say, well, okay, this is this prop. This is the linking rings, for example. This is the way that everybody does it. How can I change it? How can I do it differently? And it might be bringing your spectator up on stage and making it funnier, like Pop Hayden. It might be, putting music over it and making it more chaotic, like Jeff Hobson. It might be making the rings fly, like Victor Volko. It could be turning them into barbed wire. It could be adding a classical piece of music and making it more of a beautiful piece to watch. There's so many different ways that you can innovate. And don't just say, well, I'm not going to do this classic of magic because everybody does it. That's no excuse. If everybody does the trick and you perceive everyone does the trick, one, that's necessarily a bad thing because it means it's a good trick. If it was a bad trick, not everybody would be doing it. But two, think about how you can innovate with that trick. Think about how you can take it to a completely different level to make it your own. Because I guarantee you there's a linking ring routine out there that nobody's published, that a magician has created themselves, that they perform in their show, and it's the best version of the linking rings ever. And the only people that see it are their audience. So I suppose the point of this video is to say to you, one, classics of magic are great. The classics of magic are as relevant now as they ever have been. And the linking rings are awesome. And there are so many different ways of doing the linking rings. And if you've ever kind of thought to yourself, you know what, I'm not going to do the linking rings because it doesn't fit me, or it doesn't suit me, or it doesn't work for me, this is your chance to change your mind. This is your chance to say, okay, I'm going to use this as a challenge. I'm going to do the linking rings, but I'm going to make it work for me, and I'm going to do it my own way, whether that be in close-up or that be stage. And if you do that, then you'll have a completely unique piece that nobody else will do. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again soon with another video. If you're coming to the Magic Con this weekend, say hi. And let me know down below if you want me to do other videos on other classics of magic. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.